What's up everyone, Patrick here, welcome back. And in this next video, what we gotta do is we gotta take each of these proportions here and we have to solve for the variable in them. So notice how in each of the proportions, there's gonna be an x to solve for. So starting with number one, we have 4 to x is equal to 24 to 18. Now personally, whenever I'm dealing with ratios, I like to take them and convert them to fractions. It's just a better visual in my opinion. Convert it like that. So this and this are the exact same thing. And then to just solve for this x, we can cross multiply. So we can cross multiply from here. So we would have 24x is equal to 4 times 18, which would give us 72. Divide both sides by 24, so x would be 3. Another thing you can do is this 24 to 18, we can actually simplify this. We could do like an extra step. So notice that 6 goes into both, so this simplifies to 4 over 3. So notice we would have 4 over x is equal to 4 over 3. So it's easy to see there that the x has to be 3. So whichever way you do, you don't necessarily have to simplify, but yeah, that's another thing you can do. Either way, the x value is 3 for this first proportion. Moving on to the second, we would have 9 over 6 is equal to 36 over x. So again, we could cross multiply. I'm actually going to simplify the 9 over 6, so that's going to be 3 over 2. Like that. And I'm going to cross multiply from here. So 3x is equal to 72. Divide both sides by 3, so x would be 24. Like that. Right, so x is 24 over here. And then notice that if we put 24 here, 36 over 24, notice that if we divide both the numerator and the denominator by 12, right? So 36 over 24, if we divide both this and this by 12, this simplifies to 3 over 2, which is what we were going for. So you could always check your answer as well. So x is 24 for number 2. Number 3, notice that we're working with decimals here. So we have 1.15 over 0.85. Now I know that having decimals within fractions is not the most proper format or the proper thing to do, but I'm just going to leave it as of now. So from here, what we can do is cross multiply again. So we'd have 0.85x is equal to 1.15 times 1.19. I'm just going to leave it since we're dealing with decimals. Then divide both sides by 0.85. So x would be 1.15 times 1.19 divided by 0.85. And then when you do all that, you would end up with 1.61 for the x value. Right? So that's the answer to number 3. Now number 4 and 5 are a little bit more tricky because we're dealing with fractions within proportions. So if we follow that same process, we got 4 over 9 all over 25 over 18. And that's equal to 2 over 5 all over x, like that. Now from here, there's multiple things that we can do. We can go ahead and cross multiply. So that's one way to go about it. So let's do that first. I'll show you a couple of different ways to do this. So 4 over 9 times x, so we'd have 4 over 9 times x is equal to 25 over 18 times 2 over 5, like that. Now notice that this here, we can simplify this. This would end up being what, 50 over 90, and that simplifies to 5 over 9. Right, when we multiply these, it would simplify to 5 over 9. Another thing you could have done is notice that 2 goes into 18 9 times, and then this 5 goes into 25 5 times. So we'd end up with that 5 over 9. So we end up with 4 over 9 x is equal to 5 over 9, like that. And then this x, if you want to combine it with this fraction, we can say 4x over 9 is equal to 5 over 9, like that. And from here, it's easy to see. Notice that the denominators are the same in this fraction, so that means the numerators have to be the same. That means that 4x has to equal 5, so that means x would be 5 over 4. But if you went through the whole process, so if you had like 36x equals 45, like that, right? If we cross multiply, divide both sides by 36, 45 over 36 simplifies to 5 over 4 if we divide both the numerator and denominator by 9. Right? So the answer to number 4 is 5 over 4. Now, another thing you could do here is instead of cross multiplying, you could simplify these. So notice we got 4 over 9 divided by 25 over 18, which is like multiplying it by 18 over 25. Right? Dividing by a fraction is like multiplying it by its reciprocal. And so from here, what we would end up with is, notice that the 9 goes into the 18 twice, so 4 times 2 is 8, so we'd have 8 over 25 equals, now this 2 over 5 all over x, this is like over x over 1, so this would be like 2 over 5 divided by x over 1, which is like 2 over 5 times 1 over x, which would be 2 over 5x. So this here is 2 over 5x, like that. And then, if you want, you can cross multiply from here. So 8 times 5 over, or 8 times 5x is 40x. 25 times 2 is 50. Divide both sides by 40. X would be 50 over 40, which would simplify to 5 over 4. Right, so that's another way to go about it. Instead of cross multiplying here, you simplify this side, and then cross multiply. So we take this initial side, make it into one fraction, take this, make it into one fraction, and then cross multiply. So whichever way you do it, just make sure you're getting that same answer. The final answer for number 4 is 5 over 4. And then finally, we got number 5. So we got x to 7 over 6. So if we follow that same process, x to 7 over 6 is equal to 12 over 7 divided by 2 over 3, like that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually, you know what, let's just cross multiply. So 2 over 3 times x is 2 over 3x is equal to 7 over 6 times 12 over 7. Notice this simplifies nicely because the 7's cancel out, and then 12 over 6 is just 2. So we got 2 over 3x. We could rewrite this as 2x over 3 is equal to 2 over 1. Cross multiply, so we'd have 2x equals 6. Right? 2x times 1 is 2x, 3 times 2 is 6. Divide both sides by 2, x would be 3. Right? So the answer here is 3. If you wanted to put these in single fractions, if you wanted to go about it that way, so we'd have x over 1 divided by 7 over 6, which is like multiplying it by 6 over 7. And then this would be 12 over 7 divided by 2 over 3 is like multiplying it by 3 over 2. So this would end up being 6x over 7. Notice that the 12 goes into the 2 goes into the 12 rather, 6 times. So we have 18 over 7, like that. Notice the 7's are the same. It's not always going to be like that. If they're different, then we cross multiply. But in this case, because the denominators are the same, we know that this numerator has to be the same. So we know 6x has to equal 18. That means x would be 3. Right, so multiple ways to go about it if the proportions contain fractions. Just whichever way you're doing it, you can maybe even try it multiple ways just for extra algebraic practice. Just make sure that you're getting that same answer.